Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, June 29th, and it's also a solemnity in the church. It is the solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul. Um, so, people who were at 7 a.m. Mass got a little bit of a surprise, probably, because normally that 7 a.m. Mass on Monday, keep that kind of low key. A lot of times there's no singing, it's all recited. But it was a solemnity, so it looked a lot more like a Sunday Mass than a Monday morning Mass. So we sang the Gloria. We had three readings. So we had a first reading, a responsorial psalm, a second reading, a gospel reading. Gave a very short homilette, and so it was. And we said the creed. We recited the creed. So yeah, it has all those elements because it's a major feast, and so uh, I always find it kind of interesting that Saints Peter and Paul are both huge apostles in the church, kind of foundational members, especially of the Church of Rome. They're the co-patrons of Rome. Um, so but it's like that they get linked together on this feast day in the church. So what you could argue are two of the greater saints in the church don't even get a feast day to themselves that way. And there's not another feast of St. Paul. I mean, the conversion of St. Paul, we celebrate that, and then there's also the celebration of the chair of St. Peter. But they don't get their own separate feasts. So I always find that kind of interesting, something to reflect on too. But one thing, like I even said in my little homilette this morning, that um, they did share that faith in Jesus Christ, that they were willing to put up with persecution, imprisonment, and ultimately gave their lives. St. Peter on a cross, and St. Paul through the sword. So we want to remember those great saints today, um, and ask for their intercession, and ask them to help us to be able to proclaim the gospel, even when it's tough, even when we're kind of made fun of or persecuted for it. So, or when it's not the most popular thing to do. And just one other reminder today, that we are kind of bringing back our regular um, weekday schedule starting this week. So, we had been celebrating Mass on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, but we do feel we're able to keep everything clean and safe and sanitary. So like I said, we had Mass this morning at 7 on Tuesday. There'll be confessions at 5:30 till 6:15, and then Mass at 6:30. On Wednesday, we will have confessions from 7 to 7:45, and then we'll have Mass at 8. And following Mass, we'll have Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament in church. We're not going to use the Adoration Chapel. Number one, it's my confessional right now during this kind of pandemic time, but it's also too, because that's such a small space and ventilation and things like that. So we'll use the main body of the church so people can feel comfortable and can spread out, but that'll take place then throughout the day. We won't be able to do it overnight into Thursday. We'll do it until we'll end this Wednesday with a holy hour from 6 to 7 p.m. To close out adoration. But the following Wednesdays, if they're not the first Wednesday of the month, I'll close with benediction, probably starting about 6:45, so that we conclude right around 7 o'clock each Wednesday evening. And then we'll be back for Mass on Thursday and Friday at 8 a.m. So, we keep praying for kind of an end to this pandemic. We want to obviously continue to pray for peace throughout our world, and especially in our country. We still see many troubled spots where protests are not done in a peaceful way, unfortunately, but that they all too often are turning violent or destructive. And so we want to pray that all people of goodwill, and especially all Christians, can bring that peace of Christ to especially those kind of troubled areas of our world, and especially in our country. So hope everyone has a wonderful solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, and that everybody enjoys another beautiful sunny summer day here in Northwest Ohio. So I pray that God will bless you abundantly this day. So have a great day, everyone.